Hi, and welcome to a new tutorial on the ESM in Logic Pro X. This is a great monophonic synthesizer, great to create some nice leads, but also some great bass patches. As any synthesizer, we can identify easily our main sections. We have the generator section right here with one oscillator, a filter section, and the amplifier section. We also have access to a glide function and an overdrive option. Let's learn how to program it. The first thing you want to do is to initialize the patch. To do so, I'm going to go under User Default and select Initialize Setting. This will reset all the filters and the oscillator. Let's concentrate now on the oscillator section. Here you can choose the octave at which the original waveform will be generated. Let's try to create a bass patch, so we're going to keep it in the lower octave. The next thing to do is to choose your original waveform. Here we can go from a basic sawtooth all the way to a square wave. We can also morph between these two by moving our main controller. To better understand how the oscillator works, I have inserted an oscilloscope on the same channel of the ESM, so we can see that the waveform generated is going to morph between a sawtooth to a square. Here's my sawtooth, and here's my square. As you can see, I can morph between the two and create the perfect combination that I need. The next step is to use the filter. The filter is very simple. I have a low pass filter where I can choose my cutoff frequency right here, and I also have access to the resonance. So if we want to make a bass a little bit darker and fuller, I can bring down the cutoff frequency of the filter. As you can hear, I'm basically losing the edge of my sound. If I bring down my cutoff frequency even lower, I'm going to have more of a sub-bass effect. Again, adjust the cutoff frequency depending on which type of bass or patch you need. I can also bring up the resonance. This will bring an extra emphasis around the cutoff frequency. The result is basically to have some extra harmonics right at the cutoff frequency and above. I can see them here on the oscilloscope. Let's move now onto the filter controller parameters. The filter can be controlled by the MIDI velocity of the note that I'm playing, right here using the Velo button. I can also control the envelope of the filter using the decay. This controls the decay of the filter. And the int parameter allows me to decide how much both velocity and decay are going to affect the filter. So if the int parameter is all the way down, the velocity and the decay will have no effect on the cutoff filter. If I bring it all the way up, the decay and velocity will have effect on the filter based on the amount that I choose. So for example, if the decay is fairly long, I can hear the filter changing based on the decay. If the decay is longer, the filter will take longer to shorter, the filter kicks in right away. Same thing for velocity. If I bring it all the way up, the filter will be very sensitive to velocity, while if it is all the way down, velocity will have no effect on the filter. Down here, I have access to the envelope of the amplifier. This is a very basic envelope. The velocity parameter allows me to decide if the patch is going to respond in terms of volume to MIDI velocity. If it is all the way down, the patch won't respond to MIDI velocity, and I will get always the same loudness no matter how hard I press on the key. If I bring it all the way to the right, now the patch will be fully dynamic, depending on the velocity I send. The volume level allows me to just control the overall volume of the patch. I can also control the amplifier using a very simple envelope that has only the decay control. If the decay is very low, the sound will be very short. If it is all the way up, the sound will hold until I keep the key pressed. I also have an overdrive that I can use to add a little bit of saturation to the sound. The glide option is interesting because it allows me to glide gently from one note to the other. Remember, this is a monophonic synthesizer. So if I bring it up, so it can be very effective in creating some smooth transition between notes. Once I'm happy with the sound I created, don't forget to save it. And to save it, just go up here, select Save As, and just give it a name. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. This is a really good synthesizer, simple to program, but very rich in texture, and it can be very useful to create amazing bass sounds and leads.